report just came out, KRDO, says Pueblo, Colorado, the designation that the Steel City which killed all those people in Ludlow, that was Rockefeller, owned by the Russians. So Steel City, we prefer not to have the fifth worst city in the United States for property crimes. So they are absolutely dropping the ball here. There has been so many people have left because of crime and criminal activity. They're not taking care of their homeless. This is the same city that has a 35% turnout rate. 1 out of 4 of their kids are poor. 1 out of 5 of the population are poor. You have these real estate tycoons who's sitting there swooping up on all the good land. They reject fair elections, the Pueblo City Council, and this is also the city that rejects free tiny homes for the homeless. So they are for a brand new jail, they're for fascism, they're for wasting our tax dollars. The fewest thefts was reported, was in Lakewood Township, New Jersey. Also Yonkers, New York. So these are the safest places. Salt Lake City had topped the list of property crimes, 75.4 per 1,000 residents. So Salt Lake City, don't go there, right? Being number 5. At least for number 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? So Pueblo can at least feel good that they're not as shitty as Salt Lake City, nor as shitty as Albuquerque or Tucson. Pueblo has 57.33 property crimes per 1,000 people. This is according to the crime data FBI, the report that the FBI had in 2016. So preliminary report for the first 6 months, 2017, those numbers show a decrease. So things are looking up, Pueblo. According to the FBI, the reported these headlines, council strengthens its hands under the incoming Pueblo mayor, Pueblo Marine honored by Vietnam Foundation. You have wanted armed robber in Pueblo, some thug dressed in some thug wear, talking some thug talk, come in and said he was going to do some thug shit. And nobody knows anything else except for that. That's the extent of that information. And then you also have the housing scam. Here it steals $4,000 from a group of Pueblo families. KRDO, Stephanie Sierra, June 8th, 2018. So not, a few days ago, a week or so. So Stephanie Sierra, she is talking about this housing scam. There's a lucrative housing scam targeting renters looking for an affordable home in East Pueblo. So watch out if you're looking. Years ago, Frank Gallardo, 50 years ago, Gallardo, 2 L's, G-A-L-L. He is a graduating senior at Central High School, but the 18-year-old missed his cap and gown ceremony because he just started the U.S. Marine Corps boot camp in San Diego, California. He enlisted at a time when many were trying to avoid the Vietnam War, brutal fighting in South Vietnam, but Frank Gallardo said, I don't give a goddamn, I'll kill as many innocent Vietnamese as possible. And the Vietnam Foundation is honoring his fight. He wasn't physically wounded, but he suffered from PTSD. He committed suicide in 1987. Probably from killing all those innocent people, a trouble veteran who was like, what the fuck did we do and why did we do it? And then probably less freedom. He wasn't allowed to be, looks like a big old hootin' nanny, nice little hootin' holler, hootin' nanny. Pueblo Department of Public Health and Environment held its community cleanup day on Saturday. So go to the St. Leander's Church parking lot on Monument Avenue, about 57,000 miles away from very early in the morning until just 1 p.m. So just in the early first half of the day in some place, St. Leander's Church, real far away, if you paid $15 tickets, so if you got your tickets early, your prepaid tickets, if you got your $15 prepaid tickets, and you're allowed to go ahead and drop off some of your couches and your appliances and some of your large trash items, which you should be able to turn into electricity, and you should be able to make a lot of money out of it, but, you know, the city leadership don't give a flying fuck. Instant runoff voting, they don't give a flying fuck. Suicide in the parking lot at Mineral Palace Park, so people killing themselves in Colorado. Well, you know, land of marijuana, people killing themselves. it is hot as shit, so maybe the heat got to them. Maybe it was them damn goat heads. Maybe it was the cockroaches. Maybe it was all the hay. You're not allowed to burn nothing. There's a big heat wave, so there's a fire ban. If you are going to burn stuff, though, you would think that 4 in the morning when you could see the flames at dark and you're bothering the least amount of people, that seems the most reasonable time to burn a tree stump that has a bunch of cockroaches coming out of it, in my humble opinion. So, City Council, they want to say, look, we get to confirm or reject all the choices for city department heads. So they get to keep them or deny them, so they want to make sure that their friends, their city department heads will keep their jobs. Sam Azad has unilateral. Bob Schilling, Mr. Mustache, he said, wait, you mean that Sam has more authority right now than the mayor will have? No shit. That's what they try to say to you all the whole time. According to the ordinance adopted Monday night, council will have the role. So it's a weak mayor, a weak pussified fucking mayor. Can't even choose his own department heads. Jesus Christ. This fucking mayor is going to get raped by city council. City council ain't going to let this mayor do shit. So the mayor gets to nominate the police chief, the fire chief, the director of the public works, all of them. And then city council says yes or no. So they can't choose or pick the original, but the nomination goes to the mayor. The nomination power goes to the mayor, but they get confirmation power. Just like the Supreme Court, the Senate, right? The Senate gets confirmation power over some appointments, something. So Schilling really doesn't know what the hell. The city council totally fucked themselves by making themselves the obedient little bitches to the mayor, so now they're trying to gain lost ground. So the council passed an ordinance on Monday that gives each council member the right to put items on the regular meeting agenda without the mayor's approval. Right now, Sam Azad sets every meeting's agenda, so city council, they're basically crying right now, sour grapes. Wait a second. We want to be able to put something on the agenda. It's only Sam. Sam is the fucking tyrant. Sam's been the man for quite some time. But, since nobody knows, it's a two-step thing. You voted city council, then you voted for the city manager. So they wanted to make sure that the city council could hire its own staff, but the mayor could veto it, but then they could override the veto with 5 council members 5 of 7. Kagavsek said there's a clause to guarantee council's participation in deciding issues. There's a loophole to the fire ban, so everything's really dry right now in Colorado, and it's a desert out here, right? It's a desert with all the radon. There's no water and there's no rain, so since it's real dry, there's a fire ban, a high fire danger status. So nobody can burn anything for any reason whatsoever, except for grills. You're allowed to grill out, so you're still allowed to barbecue. So in the barbecue, just go ahead and throw everything inside of there. Also, protected welding operations, so you're allowed to continue to weld. So go ahead and weld, and go ahead and have your cookouts. Go have a cookout, go have a barbecue, go ahead and get your grills on. Start welding this, that, and the other. So long-term forecast, something, fire pits, tiki torches, fireworks, outdoor smoking, unless in an area cleared of combustible material. You're not allowed to even smoke cigarettes outside. So just grill. And more headlines, Pueblo Council votes for a separate mayoral runoff election. So they went ahead and do this two-step thing, and the pros and cons to it, not many pros. You could vote for, whoever, and then vote for whoever. It's going to force 2 people to go against each other, so you're going to have a cage match to the death between just 2 people, and it doesn't matter if they're 49% or 10% winners or 4% and 3% winners. If they're the top 2, they're the top 2, so they'll generate a fake majority support for them out of the 35% turnout rate, so a fake majority supported candidate will be generated, but it's not the actual one that would have been the deep, broad, wide support that instant runoff would have brought. So they're doing an Afghanistan runoff election. Since Afghanistan is such a swimming success, their democracy is one to be emulated. So we're doing. The Ortiz said, let's have ranked choice, but they're like, what the fuck do you know? You're just a damn county, clerk. You just run the elections. What the fuck do you know? You only run the elections. So Maine is going to use instant runoff voting, and Maine has also legalized marijuana. So really, let's all go to fucking Maine. Fuck Colorado. And if Pueblo, I mean, seriously, instant runoff voting is the wave of the future. It gives independents and Greens and third parties an actual chance. It's a true blue, fair democracy. Democrats and Republicans don't want that because they're cheaters. They're cheaters, just like Dennis Flores. Dennis Flores is a liar. And then you have the governor of Maine who's fighting the people, who's voted for this over and over again. And it's popular. When you look at it, the people actually want this thing. And it's simpler than the March Madness brackets. You're just ranking 1 to 10. Can you rank shit? Can you put shit in order from 1 to 10? Then you should be in favor of this. So Maine has already got their shit together. They've legalized marijuana. This retired police chief, Jim Billings, he retired in 2010. He entered his own home and he heard footsteps near the stairs, encountered Bussy, told him he had been trapped inside the home, and he was like, I don't even know. This is the 6100 block of Red. This is in the Denver metro area, so he just returned. Okay, so this is in Pueblo. This is a former Pueblo police chief. They were in Denver. They came back to Pueblo. They're at the Red Creek Springs Road. They found an adult man named Brandon Bussy, 31-year-old Brandon Bussy, who was in their home without their permission. So he's like, what are you doing in my house? He's like, I just got trapped. And he's like, I don't know what you meant by that. It was a day there. There was a rainstorm just prior to us getting home. My first impression was that he meant got trapped by the rainstorm. But then I quickly realized that what he meant was that he was trapped in my house because I have deadbolt locks and he wasn't able to get out without having a key or going through me. 31-year-old Bussy, Brandon Bussy, he is a meth head. They found meth on him, or he tested positive for it. So they said that there was a deputy who had noted that he ingested it, and he was unable to provide a statement, not making sense. So they went ahead and given him second-degree burglary charges, unlawful possession of a controlled substance, and criminal mischief. He's at the Pueblo County Detention Center, so the county jail, the wonderful county jail that the county does not allow the city to use, in lieu of a $25,000 bail, and his next court date is scheduled for June 25th. So Bussy is going to be locked up for a very, very long time. He's not going to get out. He's not going to get bail. So he's going to, definitely get, jail time and a fine. And he's a meth addict, Brandon Bussy. I don't know if that's going to help. He'll probably be back to doing the meth as soon as he gets out of jail. $700 per day. So we spend $700 per day on Brandon Bussy to go ahead and sit in a pretty shitty jail. I'm sure he gets fed and gets clothing and gets shelter and whatnot, which is what he was looking for, right? He was squatting, so he needed a place to stay. And so he's going to stay in Pueblo County's jail. He's going to get paid. $700 is what we're going to pay to make sure he stays there. That would pay for housing, for him out and about, but instead we're just going to go ahead and bloat up the prison industrial complex, the prison plantation complex. 2 former Rocky Ford city officials said they were fired in retaliation for reporting concerns about potential misconduct, malfeasance, and corruption on the part of the city's police department and police chief. And it was filed by Julie Worley, former clerk of the Rocky Ford Municipal Court, and Catherine Benz, former Human Resources Director. There was Bent County Sheriff Dave Insinius began an investigation of the police chief Michael Bethel at Bethel's request into Benz's allegation that Bethel had stolen city-owned fencing for his personal use. The lawsuit doesn't state the outcome of it. The allegation about the fencing was one topic of alleged potential misconduct. Another alleged misconduct was women's suspicion of ticket fixing and fines being paid in cash to police in violation of city policy without receipts being provided. So that's going on in Rocky Ford, not Pueblo, but you have a burger and a side of handcuffs for a drunk man. Makes the joke made by KKTV 11. KKTV said, hey, you passed out in the Sonic drive-thru. If you pass out and you're drunk, not only do you get a burger, but you get a side of handcuffs too. So he got booked for DUI. Page isn't loading up, but KKTV is saying that there is an armed robber who is wanted for pulling a gun. I mentioned it. I saw the picture. It was a blurry picture. It made me think it was a white dude. Then later it said it was a Hispanic guy. And it was like, okay. It reminds me of actually this one time when this one lady was in Revive Pueblo, and she said, look who broke into this. And I was looking at the pictures, and I was like, it looks like this, and it looks like that. And she was like, why do you know so much? So, you know, try to help a person, immediately just start getting fucking accused by these psychos. Okay? So that's, there ain't assholes, or, you know, if you gotta look over your shoulder for fucking criminals, you gotta look over your shoulder for fucking assholes. You got a paywall here. There's a Pueblo heroin dealer gets 9 years in federal prison. So, you know, 9 years in federal prison for heroin. And that's it. So, the 5th most crimes in the nation. Don't forget, this is Pueblo City. Pueblo City, home of 107,000 people, where 1 out of 4 of our children are poor. 1,000 of our kids are homeless. 1 out of 5 of our people are poor. You have real estate tycoons jumping on everything. The statistics, 5th most criminal in the nation when it comes to property break-ins, home, car. So the 5th most criminal fucking city in the nation. Last year, 2017, 15 teenagers killed themselves. None of their names were published, and 35 adults. So a lot of people are offing themselves here in Pueblo City. There is no fair elections, no instant runoff voting. We have Afghanistan, the two election, Afghanistan, the double Afghanistan election. Then City Council rejects the free homes for the homeless. That's